here's something strange that just occurred to me, and bear with me as I go unscripted and off the dome, as is my wont. Growing up, my father wasn't really on the scene. My brother is 6 years older. So me and my mum used to take our family holidays. By this time my brother was doing his own thing. We used to take our family holidays with another family from North London. And we went to Menorca and we had a great time. My uncle had a restaurant there at the time. He had it for many years. Anyway, this family were very left-wing and progressive. You know the drill. And yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, the daughter contacted me on these holidays. We used to flirt a little bit. I think she quite liked me at the time. I had hair back then. I wasn't so fat. I think she quite liked me back then. I was a year or two older maybe. Anyway, she contacted me 2 or 3 years ago and said, wow, I can't believe all this trans stuff, how they're cutting off the twigs and berries off young boys who want to become women. It's terrible. They're pumping them full of hormones and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. You know how the whole trans thing has really blown up and become a hysteria in the last, I'm going to say the last 5 or 6 years. Now for me, I never got all the fuss about it because that population make up a very small percentage of our UK population, and I just didn't get all the fuss, and I still don't. It's just a big culture war thing, mostly to divide people who I think, you know, to stop people focusing on class issues, how it's the 1 or 2% who hoard 40 or 50% of the wealth around the world. And I think this trans thing and a lot of issues have become culture war things to divide us and keep our eyes off that. Anyway, she would contact me and she would send me videos and this and that, and I never really cared a lot, and I sort of said, yeah, I guess, but I sort of, meh. That's the message I tried to give across. And maybe she contacted me because from this t-shirt, which is written in Lao script, but it's very similar to Thai script. Me and my family went on holiday to Laos, as Western people like to say, Lao, L-A-O-S. Next door to Thailand here. We've been there a couple of times. Went there, bought the t-shirt. Hey. Anyway, as you can see from this script, I live in Southeast Asia, and maybe she thought, I'll contact Dan because he lives in Thailand, where a lot of these children are going to have surgery to remove their twigs and berries in the case of boys, or to remove their breasts in the case of girls who want to transition to become men, I guess. I don't know what she thought I was going to do, if she thought I was going to take to the streets and protest here in Bangkok, Thailand, because let me tell you, the Thai authorities would not look kindly on a farang, as we're known here, kicking up a stink about anything in the streets of Bangkok. I'm certain, you know, I have to renew my visa every year, despite having been married to my beautiful Thai wife for nearly 20 years now, and having a half Thai son and never having caused any trouble. I still have to renew my visa once a year, and I still have to, get this, report my address where I physically am, where I'm staying every 3 months, like I'm some sort of convict on probation. But anyway, that's by the by, and I don't want to have a bitter rant about that, because Thailand's been quite good to me, apart from all my hair fell out while I was here. That's not true, it had started before. Anyway, I'm certainly not going to take to the streets and protest about anything, even what's happening to Palestinians, because, well, that just ain't going to help me get my next visa. You know, I'm a guest here. There's not a real tradition here of people hitting the streets and protesting, and it ain't for me to do that in Thailand. But I don't know if Faye, the young lady in question, thought I was going to do that. I thought, he's in Thailand, he's our man on the ground, he'll go and spread the word about what's happening in Thailand. Anyway, the reason I mention all this is she, from her very left-wing progressive, you would think human rights, caring about centred family, took it upon herself to talk to me about all of that. I think she's quite feminist, which probably plays into it all, but I haven't seen her or anyone else, but it's striking that I haven't seen her making any fuss about the 13,000 dead Palestinians that have been killed since, you know, middle October when Israel started its carnage. Now, okay, say there are some children who transition and later regret it, it's going to be nothing like 13,000 in the last 10, 12 weeks or whatever. It's just weird to me how people pick the things that they give a damn about and ignore other things that don't fit their agenda. By all means, if you know someone who's transitioned and regretted it, mention that, talk about that. But don't do that and ignore getting on for 15,000. It might even be that by now. It might be 20,000. There'll be kids laying dead in rubble, okay? Hate to say this, laying dead in rubble, being eaten by animals. Don't ignore that. Don't harp on about the trans thing and not mention the massive number of innocent people, not just children, mind you, but adults as well, who've been killed by Israeli bombs, driven from their land, their homes, their universities, their culture, their infrastructure destroyed, with a view to encouraging them to voluntarily move somewhere, presumably Egypt, who show no sign of wanting to facilitate Israel in their plan to ethnically cleanse Gaza of its indigenous Palestinian Arab people. I was just watching a video of Owen Jones talking to someone about how we value Western life and even Israeli life. By we, I mean the Western media. How if Hind Rajab, the little girl who'd been found dead in a vehicle a week or two after calling the emergency services and begging for her life to be saved, if she'd been Western or Israeli, there'd have been a massive uproar. It'd been all over the media. But because she's Palestinian, people don't care about her. The media, I do, you do, hopefully, but the media, the Western media don't. The Western politicians don't. The people arming and supplying and giving diplomatic support to Israel, they don't. I'm sweating because I've turned off the fan because it's noisy and I don't run aircon, so I'll have to stop this video soon. And also, you don't want to look at this face much longer, let's be honest. But the things they focus on, now they're focusing on King Charles has got to have a cancer operation. I feel very bad for King Charles, but 13,000 frigging children, at least that we know of, dead. Come on. And there was a big stink in the UK recently about a post office scandal where some faulty, was it Korean, I think, software or Japanese software, I'm not sure, led to some postmasters, people who ran post offices, being accused of fraud, which they hadn't committed, and it was the software making it look like they committed fraud. And some of them, I think, one or two of them even took their own life, which is terrible. And there was a big fuss about it in the media for a week or two. It would just be nice if there could be the same fuss about an enormous number of children and innocent adults killed. You can see it's boiling my PISS at this point. It's ridiculous. It's farcical. I'll probably attach a clip I'm taking from that Owen Jones video where he's talking about the discrepancy in how the media cover Western/Israeli, because Israel is the West little colony in the Middle East at this point, isn't it? The discrepancy in how they cover Western and non-Western lives and deaths. I'm going to clip some of that, and I'll include that clip at the end of this video and down in the description. And I just want to call out anyone who's been making a fuss, a big stink about trans people, the post office, whatever, and said nothing at all about, I don't know, 30,000 dead Palestinian people. Okay, they've killed some Hamas operatives, no doubt, but not enough to justify the carnage, the absolute carnage, okay? And on the trans thing, I don't know, I never got the whole hounding and persecution of that community. And if you're a Muslim person who's subscribed to my channel because you liked my advocacy for Palestinians, this might sadden or enrage you that I don't want that community to be scapegoated or their lives made hard, because I know there's a difficult interaction historically between the Muslim community, those of the Islamic faith, and the LGBTQ plus community. The Quran says it's a sin to be gay and all of this, but I hope that none of you watching, even if you're very strong in your Muslim faith, would actually wish harm on gay people or trans people, or, you know, I don't know, I guess it's the Westerner in me. As long as people aren't harming someone else, I support their right to life, and obviously that includes little Palestinian kids, like the 6-year-old murdered by the IDF or the IOF, the Israeli Offensive Force. But for me also it includes gay people or trans, if they're just living their life and that doesn't impact upon me and my family at all. But, you know, I don't know, that's the one thing. I've been looking at Islam recently, and it's a faith that interests me because of the faith and the strength it's given a lot of people to endure, seemingly. But one thing that puts me off possibly is the treatment of women and, let's say, sexual minorities. So if you have anything you can tell me about that will allay my fears, please do. Otherwise, I guess I'll probably never look deeper into that faith. Well, I will look into it, but I might not adopt it because of that aspect of it, i.e. how certain minorities are treated. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I'm up at the 11 minute and some seconds mark, 11.5 minutes, and if you've watched this far, that's frankly amazing. So amazing that all my hair might grow back. That's a dad joke I've used before, and I'll probably use it in the future. Anyway, Western media, you disgust me. Western politicians, you disgust me. People in the West who make a big old hoo-ha about this, that, or the other, this, that, or the third, as they like to say in the hip-hop songs I often listen to. People who make a hoo-ha about this, that, or the third, but they don't care about Palestinian people, you disgust me. You can step off. I don't even feel like I want to go back to my own country ever again necessarily, because if that's how people are, they would just allow our government to support this disgusting carnage and not say anything and not care. Not in any numbers that I can see anyway. Not the 400 or so friends I've got on Facebook. None of them have acknowledged anything I've said on there. One old person clicks like. She's retired. I guess she's not worried about losing her job. Someone else, Jewish, implied I was anti-Semitic. I disabused her of that notion. I'm certainly not. I'm anti-genocide. Aside from that, no one is even acknowledged, and I know people are seeing the things, the stories I'm uploading, because it tells you when someone's seen a story, blah blah yada yada. No one cares, no one acknowledges it. On X it's different, because you can always find people who align with your views there, but I'm led to the conclusion that generally people in the West are selfish, ignorant, materialistic, parochial, and perfectly happy not to say anything about their government backing a campaign of genocide / ethnic cleansing / mass punishment. Call it what you will. It ain't pretty. It ain't good, and we shouldn't be backing it, and if our government does, we should be all of us on the street protesting it. So F everyone back home. I've been to my country one time in 17 years for about 3 weeks. Don't know if I'll ever go there again if I don't need to. I think I'm done with the West. I'm done with the West. I should have been done with the West when they invaded Iraq. I wasn't politically engaged at that time. I should have been done with them. All the other things they've done. Disgusting things, and all the things they've supported. I didn't say anything then. Shame on me. I'm saying something now. And those people who aren't, can't blame them, because I didn't say anything before. But it'd be nice if more of them, if they are aware of it, if they do see the headlines, if they do know what's going on, it'd be nice if some of them said something. Anyway, that's 14 minutes. And I'm sweating and I'm spitting. I'm spitting, which is never a good look on camera. So, cheers. Peace. Freedom for Palestine.